Today we're going to learn to play Tussie Mussie the card game, and I'm also going to show you the Flower Shoppe expansion for solo play. Let's get started. To set up Tussie Mussie, all 18 cards are shuffled into a deck and placed face down. The setup is the same for a 2, 3, or 4-player game. The game is won by scoring the most points in your flower arrangement. At the end of the game, you will first count up how many hearts you have and score that many points. So this player gets 1 point for this heart. Then you will score any additional text on the cards. This card scores an extra 3 points if you have no hearts, but we do have 1 heart, so I get 0 points for that. This one scores 2 points if you have exactly 2 cards in your bouquet. These cards are considered your bouquet, so I have more than 2. This card gives me 1 point for each card in my bouquet. So I have 1, 2, 3 cards in my bouquet. That's plus 3, so now I have 4 points. And then 1 point for each of your red cards, including this one. So that's 1, 2 extra points. So that's a total of 6 points for this person. Now I'm sure you're wondering, how do you get those cards in your bouquet? And we're going to go over that now. The first player, or the player who most recently smelled a flower, will go first. They're going to draw 2 cards from the top of the deck. In a 2-player game, they'll only be offering these cards to the player across from them. In a 3 or 4-player game, the first round offers will be passed to the player on the left. So the way you make an offer is you decide which card you want to face up and which card you want to face down. So this player might offer the carnation face up and the red tulip face down. So if they're offering them to the player across from them, they might say, oh, I get 1 point for each different color cards. Well, I think I can get that. So then they'll take this and they'll put it in their flower arrangement. The card they didn't take will go in the first player's flower arrangement. And then play will pass to the next person. Let's assume this is a 2-player game. Now player 2 will draw 2 cards. Look at them without showing them to the other player. And they're like, oh, well, if I need different colored cards in mine, I'm going to face this one down and hope that they want this one. So they'll face them like this. The other player decides if they want the face down card or the face up card. If they choose the face down card, it stays face down when it goes into their flower arrangement. These are considered your keepsakes. If they take the face up card, it'll stay face up when it goes to them. Play continues in this way until all players have 4 cards in their arrangement. Scoring occurs at the end of each round. There are 3 rounds. In a 3 to 4 player game, the first player will offer cards to the player on their left initially during the first round, to their right during the second round, and then back to their left on the third round. When scoring at the end of the round, the keepsake cards are moved down below the bouquet, so they're uneven with the bouquet. And then they are flipped over. As explained before, first you count the amount of hearts that you have, and then you add points based on any of the text. This game does not come with a pad and paper, so you'll have to supply your own to keep score. The game ends after the 3 rounds. All scores are tallied, and the person with the highest score wins. To set up Tussie Mussie for 1 player, along with the Tussie Mussie Flower Shoppe solo expansion, you're going to shuffle all 18 of the base Tussie Mussie cards and put them face down into a deck. Then additionally, you're going to shuffle the expansion turn cards and put them face down into a deck. To win the solo version of the game, you must have more points than the AI opponent after each round and at the end of the game. You still win if you have the highest points at the end of the game, but you've mastered the game if you have the highest points at the end of each round. The game is played in 3 rounds, just as regular Tussie Mussie. At the beginning of each turn, you will flip over a turn card. You'll follow the deal instructions. In this case, we're going to deal 2 cards, both face up. You'll then decide to place 1 in your arrangement and 1 in your opponent's arrangement, following the rules on the card. So in this case, I can place 1 in my bouquet and 1 in my opponent's bouquet. I'm going to take the carnation from my bouquet and the marigold from my opponent's bouquet. Next, we're going to flip up another card. In this case, we're going to deal one face up and one face down. So we don't know what this card is, but we do know what this card is. And the way we have to place them is place one face up in my bouquet or face down in the opponent's, and one face down in my bouquet or face up in the opponent's. And in this case, it actually says cards must remain as dealt, where in the last version, it doesn't say that. So, because this is a different color, I'm going to place it face up in my bouquet, push this one face down. So now we're going to deal up and down again. And because it doesn't say that they have to stay the same, I could choose to make this one a keepsake if I wanted to, or I could choose to make this one face up in my bouquet if I wanted to. The only time you have to keep them the same as they were dealt is if the card actually says that. And play is going to continue in this way until you have 4 cards in your flower arrangement and your AI opponent has 4 cards in their flower arrangement. At that time, round 1 will end. Scoring in the solo game is similar. You're going to flip your keepsakes, but keep them misaligned with the bouquet. The opponent does not take any actions on cards that say before scoring. So the opponent does not get to discard a card. The opponent scores 2 points for each May card with a May ability, which I don't see any of those, so they don't score any extra points for those. My points would score as normal, so I would get the 1 heart, plus 1 for each card of a different color, so 1, 2, 3, so that's 4, 1 for each card in your bouquet, that's 3 more, that's 7, 2 points if you have exactly 2 cards in your bouquet, I don't get that, and 1 point for each of your red cards, so that's 2 more points, so 9 points for me. And then the AI gets 2, 3, 4, 5, actually 3, 6. This one's not in the bouquet, so it doesn't score, and that doesn't score. So at the end of this round, I would be ahead. So to change over to the next round, you're going to shuffle the AI's cards together. And they are going to get 1 randomly chosen to start their bouquet. So they're going to end round number 2 with 5 cards in their bouquet instead of 4. All the remaining flower cards are then shuffled together to form a deck again. The 6 turn cards are shuffled together to make a deck again. Sorry, shuffling with one hand is not the easiest thing to do. I really need to get a better setup for overhead play. And then play begins again for this round, exactly the same as in previous rounds. And this round will go until you have 4 cards. The AI opponent will have 5 cards at the end of this round. When this round ends and is scored, then you're going to take the AI opponent's cards, shuffle them together, and give them 2 cards before they start the 3rd round. At the end of the 3rd round, the game is over, and whoever has the highest points wins the game. Thank you for watching our overview of Tussie Mussie. Please like and subscribe.